Namaskaram to all viewers of JyothirMaarg. Dear viewers, today we will cover the 6th, 7th and 8th chapters of Devi Mahaatmyam. In the last episode, we had Sumbha's messenger Sugriva approaching Chandika Devi and Devi telling him about her oath that she will marry only the one who will fight with her and defeat her. So now, let's continue. Thereafter, Sugriva went back to Sumbha and conveyed Devi's message to him. Blind with rage, Sumbha called out for his commander Dhumralojana and said, "You go now, Dhumralojana, take sufficient army with you and holding her by her hair, drag and bring her here to me. Should there be someone to protect her, finish him off on the spot, whether he be a Rakshasa, Deva, Yaksha or Gandharva. No need for any second thoughts about that, and then come back and report to me straight away." On Sumbha's command, Dhumralojana proceeded with an army of 60,000 Asura soldiers. Entering the snow-covered mountain peaks, he approached that Devi who had eyes like the petals of the rare blue lotus and spoke to her like this. "Now you come with me to Sumbha's palace, otherwise I will use force and drag you." Then Devi replied like this, "In all the worlds, Sumbha is like the god of death. And if your powerful army want to take me by force, no one in this world will dare to stop you." Now, Dhumralojana lost his patience and stepped forward to take Devi in his grip. That very moment, Devi shook all the three worlds with a lion roar which sounded like a high-pitched hum or humkar of the highest density and volume. The impact of that roar caused a massive fire, and in no time, Dhumralojana and the major part of his army got reduced to ashes without the use of any weapons. Thereafter, Devi and her Vahan, the mighty lion, destroyed the rest of the army also. When Sumbha learned how Dhumralojana and his army had been destroyed, his eyes turned red with anger and called his mighty generals Chanda and Munda. Sumbha told them to go capture and bring Devi to him. With this, chapter 6 is over. Now we are starting chapter 7. With a huge army, Chanda and Munda approached Devi. They saw her at the mountain top, sitting on the back of the lion. Their sight made Devi so angry that her face turned dark. From her radiant and glowing forehead originated the most vicious and ferocious BhadraKaali Devi. This BhadraKaali Devi looked terrible with her wide open mouth, because her sharp and long teeth were protruding outside, and her very long and blood-red tongue was falling out from her mouth, moving all the time. It was horrifying to look at her face. She had the rope, sword, and the Ghatwanga, which is a huge wooden club with a skull at its top. And in her several hands, she carried several different weapons. Her roar removed all hopes from the minds of her enemies. She wore tiger skin and had a garland made of cut-off heads. Her earrings were big and hanging down. That Devi had a large, round face with blood-red eyes. Standing in the middle of the Asura army, BhadraKaali Devi started swallowing them in thousands. With her long hands, she gathered chariots along with their drivers and the soldiers riding in them, and destroyed them by biting and breaking them with her sharp teeth. In the meantime, she caught several elephants and horses and swallowed them together in bunches. With her arrows, sword, and Ghatwanga, and with her sharp teeth and fingernails, which were like claws, the most ferocious and vicious BhadraKaali Devi finished off the Asura army in no time. Seeing this, Chanda became very angry, and he came closer to BhadraKaali Devi, showering arrows on her like the rains coming from the dark and thick clouds. And Munda attacked BhadraKaali Devi with his chakra. Devi roared aloud and cut off Chanda's head with her sword, and then she killed Munda with a mighty blow of her Ghatwanga weapon. And while giving out continuous lion roars, she placed Chanda's and Munda's heads in front of Chandika Devi. A very pleased Chandika Devi thought for a while and said to BhadraKaali like this, "Since you lessened my burden by killing Chanda and Munda, your name will become famous as Chamundi and will be worshipped by everyone in all the worlds." Thus ends the 7th chapter of our rendering of Devi Mahaatmyam. After Chanda and Munda were destroyed along with their army, Sumbha, now fuming with rage, ordered his commanders to mobilize all his forces. That army consisted of various sections like the Daiteya, Dhumra, Kalaga, Dauhrida, and Kalakeya, each of them consisting of several crores. The nature underwent a sudden change, and dark clouds appeared like those which were seen at the end of each kalpa, and they started raining blood and bones. Scavenger birds and animals like vultures and hyenas suddenly appeared there and filled the air with their sounds of howls and screams. Sumbha and Nisumbha did not pay any attention to these inauspicious omens, but marched towards the higher plains of the Himalayas. On seeing such massive army of asuras filling up the mountain peaks and plains in full rage and fury, Chandika Devi pulled the string of her bow backwards and left it, which made such a loud noise, the reverberations of which made all the worlds to tremble. Added to this, BhadraKaali Devi's lion roars, neighing of horses, cry of dragons, and the high-octane blowing of conch shells all together created a terrible scene and noise, making the worlds tremble again and again. Seeing such fierce scenes even before the battle had started, Rishi Narada started singing. Narada worshipped Devi and described the scenes of the battlefield. At this point, for the good of the Devas and for destroying the Asuras, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, and Indra created 7 female forces with weapons and Vahan to assist Devi to eliminate the race of Asuras. Brahmadeva with his power created Brahmani Devi, who came sitting on the swan's back holding the sacred water pot Kamandalu in her hand. Maheshwari, the female form of Shakti of Lord Maheshwara, came mounted on the ox, equipped with the Trishul and the rope. That Devi's hair was decorated with a crescent. Kaumari Devi, the female form of Kumara or Lord Kartikeya, came mounted on the peacock, equipped with the powerful weapons, the veil and Shakti of Lord Kartik. Lord Vishnu's inexhaustible divine powers got personified in 3 female forms, Vaishnavi or Vaishno Devi, with the chakra, shankha, gada, and sharanga, which is the bow of Lord Vishnu, and the lotus in her hands. Thereafter, Varahamurti, one of the incarnations of Lord Vishnu, became Varahi, and another incarnation, Narasimhamurti, became Narasimhi. They joined Devi in their female forms, spreading terror with their lion roars. Aindri, the female form of Indra, arrived in the battlefield mounted on Airavat, the elephant, wielding her Vajrayudh. Then from Chandika Devi's body emerged a baby-sized Lord Shiva, to whom Devi said to go to Sumbha and Nisumbha and to tell them that they should now hand over the Swarglok to Indra and go back to their own worlds. The Havis of Yajnas and Havans should be received by the Devas as before. Asuras should return to their own world, which is the Patal Lok. When this message was conveyed to the Asuras, they got so angry that they started the war immediately. Because of sending Lord Shiva as a messenger, Chandika Devi became famous as Shiva Duti. Now the Asuras attacked Devi using all their weapons. Devi countered them with her own weapons and started killing those Asuras in hundreds and thousands. BhadraKaali Devi moved around, killing the Asura army in thousands and swallowing chariots with charioteers and soldiers and elephants and horses. When that Devi became intoxicated with their blood, she got more enraged and powerful. And wielding her sword, Khatwanga and Shul, BhadraKaali Devi went on destroying and killing Asuras endlessly. Brahmani Devi killed Asuras by sprinkling the holy water from her Kamandalu on them. Using her Trishul, Maheshwari went on slaughtering the Asura army. Vaishnavi Devi also cut off the heads of Asuras with her chakra. Kaumari Devi, with the use of her powerful weapon Shakti, felled Asuras non-stop and their bodies filled the battleground. Aindri used her Vajra, and Varahi also with her mighty blows killed the Asuras and destroyed the Asura army. Narasimhi used the sharp claws and teeth to massacre the Asuras. Not able to withstand the might of the Devi and the 7 mothers, the Asura army started to run back in all directions. Then, the nephew of Sumbha and Nisumbha and the son of Krodhavadi, the all-powerful hero of the demons, Raktabijasur, dreadful enemy of the Devas, entered the battlefield with a huge army. He had such powers that from each drop of his blood falling on the earth, another Raktabija equal to him in all respects will be born. And from those clones' blood also, similar Raktabijas will emerge. That Raktabijasur with such amazing powers now started to fight with Devi. When Aindri Devi wielded her Vajra sword on him, his blood fell on the earth, and from every drop emerged a new Raktabijasur, and there were several Raktabijas there within no time. And when the seven mothers fought with them, the battlefield got filled by Raktabijas. Devas got frightened by this unexpected turn of events. When Chandika Devi saw the Devas in such state of shock, she affectionately called BhadraKaali Devi and told her, "O Chamunde, you do one thing. Go down and stand on the earth with your face upwards and your huge mouth wide open. And then you drink all the blood that will fall down when I fight with this Raktabija. By doing like this, the Asura will not be duplicated anymore." And Ma BhadraKaali started drinking all the blood that was falling while Devi was chopping the heads of those endless lot of Raktabijas. Using her chakra, shula and sharp arrows, then she killed Raktabija and destroyed all his clones in no time. Thereupon, the Devas started worshipping Devi with Vedic chants and hymns. And the seven mothers stood by Chandika Devi, bowing in respect. Thus ends the 8th chapter of our summarized rendering of Devi Mahaatmyam.